Hey, I'm meteorologist Doug Myers with the latest forecast heading into this Tuesday. As expected yesterday, we had a wide range in temperatures. Of course, how quickly the clouds and the rain from the morning cleared out. Highs in the 80s and 90s. And taking a look at our official rainfall totals, keep in mind that Emporia has had some issues with their rain gauge, so that's why it's not showing up. But more than an inch in Manhattan and Topeka, more than 2 inches in Lawrence, and areas just to the south of I-70 received about 3 to 6 inches worth of rainfall in those areas. So a pretty significant amount of rain across those areas. And of course, for those in those areas, rivers and creeks are still flooding in those areas and some of those locations. So keep that in mind, that there still may be some roads that are not passable because of the flooded roadways. So again, turn around, don't drown. And with more rain on the way over the next couple days, that's going to enhance that flood threat in those areas as well. Otherwise, I think most spots will end up in the low to mid 90s, a little bit cooler up along the Nebraska-Kansas border, higher probability clouds and maybe some rain lasting through the day at times. But I really don't think there will be severe weather up there. If there is, it would not be as significant as those that do reach the 90s today, especially with the possibility that there might be a little bit of sun. It does stay humid though, so that means heat index values will likely be near, if not in the triple digits for most, if not all, of northeast Kansas. Heat advisory is in effect for most areas with heat indices near 105 or warmer. So keep that in mind as well. Look at that. The humidity does come down as we head towards late Thursday and especially for Friday and Saturday. So nicer conditions are expected as we get into the second and third day of the holiday weekend. But that first day of the holiday weekend, there is some concern about severe weather. Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on that closely as we get closer to Thursday. But look at today. We have that enhanced risk of severe weather late this afternoon into this evening, especially along and north of I-70 and east of Highway 75 more specifically as well. Now, let's take a look at today more specifically. Keep in mind, this is subject to change, so make sure that you're staying up to date on this. Video may not be up to date, but the forecast discussion will, so keep that in mind. Looking at wind being the primary focus of concern for the severe weather for this afternoon and evening, but we'll, of course, be keeping an eye on all hazards, including the flood threat as well. So, but there is some uncertainty on exactly how it's going to play out. Here's a look at Supercast. I'm going to show you two different versions, so just keep this in the back of your mind and how this is going to play out compared to when I'll show you the second computer model. Again, mostly dry. You can see quite a bit of sun for the southeastern portion of our viewing area, and then we go to look at some storms as we get into the late afternoon, evening hours, around 5 o'clock. Again, not necessarily in this exact location near Oskaloosa, but you get the idea that storms beginning to develop during that time, continuing through the evening hours, especially along and south of that frontal boundary. So it is going to depend on where that frontal boundary is. And then we do dry out a little bit after midnight before it picks up again as we get closer to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So we'll get an hour or two of dry conditions. And then through the day tomorrow, this is one of the few models that is showing quite a bit of rain tomorrow. Most models, if there is going to be any rain tomorrow, mainly stays in our far southern communities and then increases again Wednesday night. So this is a little bit of the exception, but it is a scenario that could play out. So that's why I'm showing it to you. And then we'll continue with more scattered showers and thunderstorms through the Wednesday evening time frame. How much rain can we expect through 4 p.m.? Very little, if anything at all, through tonight. Along and south of the turnpike, getting some locally heavier downpours, nothing too significant in the major cities. And then we do get the rainfall for tomorrow into tomorrow evening across the area. All right, so let's take a look at what to expect with our second computer model, showing a similar setup, maybe a few more isolated showers and thunderstorms back further to the northwest through the evening hours compared to that first one. So obviously something to be mindful of, but continuing through the overnight periods. And then for most of tomorrow, it's actually going to end up being dry. According to this computer model, maybe a few isolated showers and thunderstorms in the evening, but then we do get that line of storms pushing through after 8 o'clock and into the evening hours as it pushes through the area. And then as we get into Thursday, of course, being the 4th of July, obviously keeping an eye on that very closely, getting a few isolated activity early in the morning and then again in the afternoon and evening. But by 5 o'clock, you'll notice that most of it will be south and east of the turnpike and then fairly quickly pushing out of our area with dry conditions by sunset. That's good news. If that timing plays out the way it's showing on there, it should be good for fireworks. May not be good for daytime activity, but should be good for fireworks. obviously subject to change. So stay weather aware and keep checking back in for updates. Here's a look at rainfall through Thursday. Quite a bit of locally heavy rainfall, just depends on where, and certainly thinking that most of the heaviest of the rain falls at night, but obviously we'll be keeping an eye on the daytime hours too. So what does this mean? Don't cancel outdoor plans, especially tomorrow and Thursday. Definitely stay weather aware, because whatever we get, especially in the late afternoon, evening hours, especially today, especially on the 4th of July, Thursday, have the higher probability of becoming severe. So you definitely want to be weather aware, but not to the extent you need to cancel outdoor plans at this point in time. Temperatures after today, generally in the 80s, maybe a few low 90s, but generally mid to upper 80s are going to be the rule as far as temperatures are concerned. Quick check of our extended outlooks. We're looking at the probability of equal chances of below normal and above normal temperatures in the 6 to 10 day outlook, but then warming back up in the 8 to 14 and 3 to 4 week outlook, at least with the probability of above average temperatures. Equal chances of above and below precipitation wise, but maybe drying out in the 3 to 4 week outlook. We are monitoring an opportunity for maybe some storms Sunday to Sunday night as well. So Friday and Saturday, those are going to be your 2 days for the holiday weekend to get outside to enjoy any outdoor activities without any worry of rainfall. The beginning of the holiday weekend, Thursday, the 4th of July, the end of the holiday weekend, Sunday, those are going to be the days to be aware of. Otherwise, have a great day. Stay safe, stay cool, stay weather aware. We'll keep you updated.